You think about hosting your own Squid Game challenge with your friends, but don't know where to start? In this video, I'm gonna be explaining every Squid Game challenge of the first and second season, giving you a perfect head start to your game. So don't look any further and let's jump straight into it. DDAKJI. The first steps to recruit your first participants will be to hand them an invitation to your game. In order to find those random participants, you'll need to start lurking around the subway and find poor and desperate people like this dude. You then offer to play a game of DDAKJI. The game involves two two-sided squared envelopes. The recruiter lays down their envelope on the floor and the other person tries to flip the envelope on the ground by slamming their own envelope down onto the other. If one person manages to flip the envelope, they'll win 100,000 won, which is approximately $68. However, if they fail and cannot pay, they are slapped as a penalty. Here the recruiter wins all the time, which means he slaps the contestant multiple times. Once the player wins, he gets the said 100,000 won and the offer to participate in that year's Squid Game by giving them an invitation card. Red light, green light. Now you have all the participants for your first game, which will be red light, green light. The game goes as follows. The players need to successfully reach the other end of an enclosed field in under 5 minutes. Sounds simple, right? Well, there's another factor to the game. At the end of the field stands a huge doll named Yang-hee, which repeatedly says red light, green light. If green light is being said, the players start running towards the finish line on the other side. If the doll says red light, all players have to stand still immediately, because as soon as the signal is given, Yang-hee turns around and scans for movement. If a player moves, he'll get disqualified by a sniper rifle looking out of the many holes of the wall. Additionally, every player that can't get past the finish line in time gets eliminated as well. Sugar honeycombs. You successfully terrified all players with your diabolic first game, but it gets even crazier. The players gather around the playground with 4 symbols on the wall. Every player gets into a row behind the symbol and gets a tube with a honeycomb inside with the shape that appeared on the wall. There are 4 different shapes, with the triangle, the circle, the star and the umbrella being the most difficult. Additionally, every player gets a needle to cut out the shape, while there are no rules on how to get the shape out of the dalgona. The only rule is, if you break the shape, you will get disqualified. So licking, carving, punching, biting and whatever else you might think of gets you the shape is allowed and will get you into the next round. Tug of War. For your third game, you should definitely play the game Tug of War to disqualify quite a few people. First of all remaining participants gather around in groups of 10 people. Each team is tasked to compete against another team, chosen at random, in a game of Tug of War. The teams are being brought to 2 raised stages, which were modeled to resemble cranes. Each player is shackled to their rope before the beginning of the game. The rope itself is thread through a guillotine, suspended between the 2 platforms. Once the losing team is pulled off their platform, the blade of the guillotine slices the rope in 2, causing the losing players to fall to their deaths if they haven't already fallen off, causing their elimination from the games. Marbles. Now to a game where everyone gets broken pretty good. All the remaining participants pick a partner to play the next game with. What they don't know is that they'll play against each other and only one gets to pass the round. Now to the game. Every player gets a bag with 10 marbles inside. Goal of the game is to get the other 10 marbles from the partner you picked within 30 minutes. This can be achieved by playing various games such as even or odd, or trying to throw marbles into a hole first to win the other marbles. If you're lucky like this lady and don't find any partner, you may as well pass this game instantly. Nonetheless, this game will break pretty much anybody unless you're a menace to society. Glass stepping stones. Players are asked to pick a jacket numbered 1 to 16. At first, it seems like just another random choice, until the big reveal. The numbers determine the order they will play in. The game takes place in a colossal chamber, decorated to resemble the interior of a circus tent. Players begin the game atop a platform at one end of the room, which is connected to another platform at the opposite end by 2 parallel bridges, each one holding 18 glass panels. Each of the panels is either made from tempered glass, which could withstand the weight of at least 2 players, or regular glass, which would shatter on impact and cause the players to fall to their death, resulting in their elimination. The goal of the game is for players to successfully cross the bridges by jumping across the tempered glass, while avoiding the regular glass, within a 60-minute time limit. Once the given time limit has reached 0, all glass panels explode to eliminate any players who remain on the bridges. Squid Game. For your last game, you would pick something special, right? Something that offers the VIPs a real show. Something rather violent. So of course you pick Squid Game. The playing field is constructed as follows. A big rectangle on the bottom, a triangle on top, some rectangles there and there, and for last some circles. After we have the playground, let's make some teams. There will be defenders and attackers, ranging from 1 to as many players as you can handle each. I'll put some letters on the shapes for you to better understand. Defenders start in rectangle D and attackers start in circle A. Goal for the attackers is to reach part C in the circle, and the goal of the defenders is to stop the attackers from reaching that point. Now it would be just too easy to just jump over the part C of the circle and win the game. Therefore, they have to follow a simple route by going outside of the shapes to point B, where the entrance is. From there on, the attackers can reach point C and win the game. Additionally, attackers have a handicap. They'll only get to jump on one foot, except for the points A, B and E, as these are the safe zones. But that seems kinda unfair, right? What the attackers can do is to go from point A to point E. From there on, if players manage to get across the so-called bridge, they are allowed to use both feet. Pretty easy, right? But what can defenders do to win the game? Well, if the attackers make mistakes like crossing a forbidden line or step with 2 feet when they are only allowed to move with 1 foot, they get disqualified. So if defenders push attackers outside the lines in zone D, they get disqualified. That's for the game so far. Additionally, you can add that there are no rules to the game violent-wise. But that would be crazy, right? Congrats, you just hosted your very first Squid Game and made one person 45.6 billion won richer. But what if you want to spice things up with a second game? Bread and lottery. This might not be as important for the game, but a little side quest never hurts, right? Actually, it's very simple. You buy 100 lottery tickets and 100 breads. After you buy these things, you go to 100 different homeless people and offer them a lottery ticket or a piece of bread. If you are done, you then proceed to get everyone's attention. You then throw every bread that is left over on the ground and smash them. If the homeless people ask what the hell you are doing, you say it's their fault, because most of them chose the lottery ticket. As I said, pretty sick. JOKENPO. If you like simplicity, this game will be perfect for you. It's a 1 versus 1 game where the participants play rock, paper, scissors -1. You may ask what the -1 is all about. Well, the participants play rock, paper, scissors, but instead of 1 hand, they play with 2. Then the host calls -1, and each participant has to remove 1 of his 2 hands. Not only does 1 player lose, but has a 1 in 6 chance of getting disqualified, because the recruiter has a revolver and plays 1 round Russian roulette with the loser of the round. If you don't know what Russian roulette is, let me explain. A revolver has 6 chambers, and one of the chambers gets filled with a bullet. Give it a good spin and insert that bad boy into the gun. Now the players alternatively pull the trigger, and by now you probably know how the rest goes. 6-leg pentathlon. This is by far one of the trickiest games and consists of 5 minigames. Players are given 10 minutes to form a team of 5 members. 2 teams will start with their legs tied together. At each 10-meter interval along the track, 1 team member will play a minigame. If that player wins the minigame, they can proceed to the next challenge. Each team has 5 minutes to complete all minigames and cross the finish line to win. DDAKJI. You already know the drill. The player must flip over a paper card on the ground by throwing another card onto it. Once the DDAKJI has been flipped, the team can move. PENTATHLON. The player must hit a stone on the ground with another stone to pass. Missing the shot requires the player to pick up the stone, wasting precious time. The player must also have their foot behind a marked line to pass. Throwing the stone with their foot over the line invalidates a successful attempt. Gongi. The player tosses a knucklebone, picks up another and catches the tossed knucklebone. The number of knucklebones picked up increases each time, until the player can catch all 5 knucklebones on the back of the hand and then in their palm. HONEYCOMBS. The player winds a string around a spinning top, then throws it to make it spin. Failing to wind the string properly or failing to make the top spin wastes more time than any other game. JOKENPO. The player must kick the JOKENPO with 1 foot 5 times in a row to pass. If a team manages to get through every game, they hopefully get to the finish line before time runs out. MINGLE. This arena consists of a platform in the middle and rooms around it. All players are required to step onto a platform in the center of an arena. Once the game begins, the platform will spin, accompanied by music. Shortly after, the platform and music will stop and a number will be called out. Players must then form a group of that specific number within 30 seconds. The groups must enter one of the surrounding rooms and close the door within the given time in order to proceed. All doors will automatically lock once 30 seconds have passed. Any players that fail to enter a room within the time limit will be eliminated, as will any players in a room that does not contain the required number. If you manage to survive for 5 rounds, you can pass this game. Special game. Why not let the players disqualify themselves? Let them start a riot in the dorms and see what happens. But surely intervene at some point. And that's every Squid Game challenge explained. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.